This is the Heal Security Deep Dive with your hosts, Mark and Diana.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
We've got kind of a wild week in news this week.
Oh, yeah, a lot happening.
So we're going to just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
First up, we are saying goodbye to a once giant in the communication world.
Yeah.
Skype is shutting down after 14 years.
Oh, wow. 14 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's really kind of the end of an era.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Skype was like the only way to video call someone. It was like revolutionary.
Yeah, and now Microsoft is kind of shifting their focus onto Teams.
Right, which makes sense. You know, Teams is very deeply integrated into the whole Microsoft ecosystem.
Yeah.
So you can do things like file sharing, and you can edit documents together. You can sync your calendars. It's all like in one secure environment.
Right.
Makes sense.
So what's the kind of security takeaway for listeners as they're maybe transitioning away from Skype?
Well, I would say the biggest thing is to watch out for phishing attempts, because anytime there's a big transition like this, the scammers come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
So you might get fake emails or messages that look like they're from Microsoft asking for your login details or offering to help you switch over to Teams.
Right.
Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Just remember, always go directly to the official Microsoft website for any information or assistance.
Good advice. Good advice.
All right.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of security concerns, Amnesty International uncovered something pretty disturbing.
Oh, what's that?
It turns out that Cellebrite, which is that company that's famous for its phone unlocking software.
Right, sure.
Their software was actually used to target a Serbian activist.
Oh, wow.
So
their software was used against an activist.
it appears that way. Yeah. So this really raises a lot of questions about, like, privacy and surveillance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cellebrite software is incredibly powerful. It can like bypass security measures on phones and extract all sorts of data. So while it's obviously a valuable tool for law enforcement, this case really highlights how it can be misused.
Yeah.
And the implications for individual privacy and freedom of expression are huge.
Yeah, it's a big debate
Right.
that we've talked about before on this show, but this just adds more fuel to the fire.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like law enforcement, they want access to encrypted devices for investigations.
Right.
But privacy advocates are saying that, any backdoors that are created could be exploited by bad actors.
Exactly. It's a very delicate balancing act.
Yeah.
And one that we're probably going to be grappling with for quite a while.
For a long time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to another kind of ongoing threat that we see.
Okay.
Ransomware.
Ugh.
It's still wreaking havoc.
Still going strong, unfortunately.
Yeah, this time it's a group called Qilin, and they're claiming to have attacked Lee Enterprises, which is a major media company.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've leaked a bunch of sensitive data online.
Oh, no, that's not good.
No, it's really not good, and this is like a growing trend that we're seeing. Media organizations are becoming prime targets for these kinds of attacks.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They hold a ton of sensitive information, and a successful attack can not only disrupt their operations, but also like really damage their reputation.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what can our listeners do, especially those that might be working in like sensitive sectors, to kind of protect their data?
Well, the key is to layer your defenses, right?
Okay.
So first of all, you got to have strong, unique passwords for every single account.
Of course.
And enable multi-factor authentication wherever you can.
Yeah.
Keep your software updated so you're patching those vulnerabilities.
Right.
And don't underestimate the importance of employee training. Yeah. Because a security-aware workforce is like your first line of defense against these kinds of attacks.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this next story is a little bit of a curveball.
All right.
It's pretty unsettling.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So police recently busted a ring that was distributing child sexual abuse material.
Oh, no.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
It was AI generated.
What?
Yeah.
AI-generated child sexual abuse material?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
It's
disturbing.
Yeah, it's incredibly disturbing, and it's a real game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because now AI can be used to create this content.
Right.
Which has huge implications for law enforcement and the judicial system.
Yeah, absolutely, because how do you distinguish real material from fabricated content?
Exactly.
It could really complicate investigations and prosecutions.
Yeah, and it opens up this whole Pandora's box of ethical questions about AI.
Oh, yeah, huge ethical questions.
And how we prevent its misuse.
For sure.
Yeah. So definitely a disturbing trend there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the UK's National Health Service.
Okay.
There was a recent report that revealed that there's growing anxieties within the NHS about cybersecurity.
Oh.
Yeah, so apparently a significant number of NHS staff are worried about whether their systems are actually adequate to withstand attacks and protect sensitive patient data.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
Yeah.
I mean, healthcare systems are a huge target for cyber criminals.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, they store massive amounts of personally identifiable information, medical records,
Yeah.
and any disruption to their services can have life or death consequences.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So this report is kind of a wake-up call for healthcare providers all over the world to really prioritize cybersecurity investments and make sure their staff are trained to identify and respond to threats.
Right.
Yeah.
Good advice. Good advice.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about some malware.
Okay, always fun.
So there's a new variant on the scene called Void, and it's infected over 1.6 million Android TV devices globally.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and what's even more alarming is the spike we've seen in India.
Oh, really?
It went from a few thousand infections to over 200,000 in a matter of days.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
Yeah.
So what's going on with this Void malware?
So it seems to be targeting Android TV boxes that aren't Google certified.
Ah, okay.
So a lot of these devices are running older versions of Android that have known vulnerabilities that haven't been patched.
Right.
And Void exploits those weaknesses to gain root access.
Essentially giving it free reign over the device.
Exactly.
So it can steal your data, install additional malware, or even like hijack your device completely.
Yeah, it's
scary stuff.
Pretty scary stuff. Yeah. So what should people be doing to protect themselves?
Well, first of all, be really careful about the apps you're downloading, especially if you're using unofficial app stores.
Right.
Stick to trusted sources like the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
And if you notice anything unusual happening on your device, like if it's suddenly running really slow or you're getting weird pop-ups, run a scan with your antivirus software just to be safe.
Good advice. Good advice.
Yeah.
All right. Remember that Cellebrite story we talked about earlier?
The phone unlocking one?
Yeah. Well, it gets even more complicated.
Oh, how so?
So reports are indicating that Serbian police actually used a zero-day exploit that was supplied by Cellebrite to unlock Android phones during an investigation.
Wow. So they were using an exploit that even the software developer didn't know about.
Exactly. And that's what makes zero-day exploits so valuable.
Right, to hackers and apparently law enforcement agencies.
Yeah, so it's a tricky situation.
Yeah, it really raises some serious questions about the ethics and the legality of using these kinds of tools.
Yeah.
And the balance between national security and individual privacy.
Right. It's a tough one.
It is.
It's a tough one, right? And finally, let's talk about a new tactic that cybercriminals are using.
Okay, what is it?
It's called fake Captcha PDFs.
Fake Captcha PDFs, what are those?
So these are malicious PDFs that are designed to trick you into thinking you need to solve a CAPTCHA for security verification.
Right.
And you might even encounter these on websites that you normally trust.
Oh, so that makes them harder to spot. Sneaky.
Yeah. And when you click on the fake CAPTCHA, it actually downloads malware onto your device called the Lumma stealer.
Lumma stealer.
And that gives hackers access to all your sensitive information.
Oh, wow. So how do you avoid falling victim to something like that?
Well, you have to be really, really cautious about any unsolicited PDFs that you get. Especially if they're prompting you to download something or enter any personal information.
Right.
Just a healthy dose of skepticism goes a long way.
Always a good idea.
Yeah. And of course, keep your antivirus software updated.
Of course. Always good advice.
So after this whirlwind of cybersecurity news,
I know, right?
What's the biggest takeaway for our listeners today?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that the cybersecurity landscape is constantly changing and the criminals are getting more and more sophisticated.
Yeah.
They're not just exploiting technological vulnerabilities, but they're also really good at exploiting human psychology.
Yeah.
They prey on our trust, our desire for convenience.
Sure.
So it's more important than ever to stay informed, stay vigilant, and always question what you see online.
Question everything.
Yeah, especially when it comes to requests for personal information or downloads.
Don't take anything at face value.
Exactly.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today.
Wow, what a week.
Stay safe out there, everyone.
Yes, stay safe.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Heal Security Dispatch Deep Dive. We appreciate your time and hope today's insights provided valuable perspective. Be sure to tune in again on Monday for more expert updates and critical cybersecurity news. Don't forget to like, subscribe for ongoing coverage, and sign up for a free trial of Heal Security Desktop at healsecurity.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and continue to secure your digital world.